Hey guys, it's Maddie from Let's Eat Plants, and today we are making a very simple recipe. We are making cowboy caviar. Now, I've also heard this recipe called Texas caviar, and I believe they are one and the same. I actually Googled where the origin of this name for this recipe came from, and it says that Texas caviar was created in the 1940s from someone actually looking to use up extra black-eyed peas in a recipe. Which is funny because I never actually used to put black-eyed peas when I would make this recipe myself, but that is one of the things I love about this recipe. It is very versatile. You can use different kinds of beans depending on what you have, and I just thought it would be a nice accompaniment for the recipe I posted on Monday, which was the oil-free crispy tortilla chips. I really love this in the summertime because it is so easy to throw together. It keeps really well in the fridge for a few days, and you can serve it as a dip with tortilla chips, as I mentioned, or you can even serve it as a salad. It is great for summer barbecues, picnics, or just having at home to snack on. And so with that, let's go ahead and get started. So the base of this recipe is actually going to be the beans, the corn, and the tomato. Now there are a couple different options here. For beans, usually the recipe calls for black-eyed peas, but I almost never used to use black-eyed peas in this recipe. I didn't even know that was part of the original recipe until I started researching it. So that is definitely optional. I just tend to use whatever beans I have on hand. I almost always use black beans because I just feel like it's a pretty good pairing for this recipe, but I think kidney beans would work well here, or any other kind of white bean. So just feel free to use whatever beans you like or whatever you have at home. Next up, tomatoes. I've also seen this recipe written a lot of different ways. Sometimes people use Roma tomatoes, or sometimes people use the smaller tomatoes like grape tomatoes or cherry tomatoes. I like these smaller ones because I just feel that they are less juicy and they don't get as like soggy in the bowl. I just feel that they hold their shape a little bit better. These were the only ones I found at the store, so I got these like really extra long ones. Usually I just get the little tiny like grape or cherry tomatoes, but these will have to do. And then corn. The only corn I have right now is one that I have cooked. I just steamed these corns on the cob. Corn on the cobs? You know what I mean. So I'm just going to cut the corn off of this cob and use that. If you only have frozen corn or canned corn, that works perfectly well as well. I've seen a lot of recipes call for fire roasted or roasted corn as well, which also gives your cowboy caviar a nice roasted flavor. Now there are a couple options for bell peppers. Of course you can use a raw, regular bell pepper, red or orange or green, doesn't matter. But I'm going to use the roasted red peppers today because it gives it that kind of smoky flavor that I mentioned that people often use roasted corn for. So I also have these already at home, so I might as well use them up. And I do like the texture of the roasted red peppers in this salad or dip or whatever it is because they're not as crunchy. These totally work fine. I've used this as well in the dip before, but just keep in mind it adds a little bit extra crunch to the texture of this dip. Jalapeño, this is optional. If you don't like it spicy, definitely just leave it out. Avocado is totally optional as well. If you are watching your fat intake, you definitely don't have to include it. And also just a serving suggestion for avocado, if you're going to be serving this at a barbecue or a party or something, just add the avocado right before you're about to serve it because avocado does turn brown very quickly. And now for the dressing of this dip, I've actually seen the original dressing for this cowboy caviar was Italian dressing, which I always thought was kind of a weird combination for this dip. So I usually like to keep it simple. I'm going to just do some lime and some crushed garlic, as well as a little bit of salt and some chili powder. And now just a note about chili powder. I've mentioned this in a couple recipes before, and I would just like to point out that chili powder is not the same as cayenne pepper. Take it from someone who has made that mistake before. One time I was making chili and the recipe called for chili powder and I thought they meant cayenne pepper, so I added like a huge amount of cayenne pepper to that chili recipe and I totally ruined it. I mean, I don't think we could even eat it. It was so incredibly spicy. So chili powder is actually a blend of spices. I believe it's paprika, chili peppers, cumin, some garlic, and some other random spices in there as well. So it's not like there's no heat. There is some chili pepper in there, but it's definitely not as spicy as just plain cayenne pepper. So since it's just me and Q eating this, I will probably have to refrigerate it and eat it over the next few days. So I'm just going to add my avocado each day as I serve it and eat it. But we are gonna try a little bit with some crispy, oil-free tortilla chips. If you guys didn't see that recipe yet, I will link it here as well as in the description box down below. Definitely go check that out if you want something to eat your dip with. And let's go ahead and try this. I could legit just eat this whole bowl right here and now. I just think this dip is such perfection. Definitely try out this cowboy caviar if you haven't tried it before. It is so delicious and vibrant and just such a perfect side or dip for summer. I just love it so much. And of course, if you're looking for any other healthy, whole food, plant-based recipes, I will link a short playlist right here. You guys can watch those after this video. And of course, let's eat plants, and I will see you guys next time.